So last week we covered some of the main most popular mod packs for Stalker Anomaly, and which one could be the best for you, depending on your taste, playstyle, and so on. Actually, it was 2 weeks ago. These videos take way too much time to do. So today we're gonna dive into more controversial, niche, or just less known projects. We'll see if I regret making this video. Still, Anomaly-based mod packs only, we are wrapping things up, and we'll cover other platforms in future videos. So projects that offer different ways to play the game might scratch a specific itch you're having or offer new features we didn't talk about yet. This video is in direct continuation of the previous one, so make sure to check it out first if you haven't already. We're gonna start today with Boss Pack, but to talk about Boss Pack, we need to talk quickly about soup mods. If you're not aware, soup mods are a very specific type of mods in the Stalker community, and I should say in the eastern side of the community, because they're not that popular on the English western side. I think we're not built to sustain the craziness of soup mods. If you picture a kid in a candy store and you ask him what type of candy he wants, and his answer is everything, well, that kid could be a great soup mod developer. And if this kid started stealing the candy and picking fights with the store employees, then he would be a great boss pack developer. But let's not go there yet. Technically, soup mods are just like regular mod packs, they're adding new maps, new quests, new mutants, new weapons and mechanics to the game. But it's the sheer amount of content, the quantity over quality mindset, the fact that nobody at any point in the process of making the mod asked, does it make sense to do this? Of course nobody asked that question. Cramming everything into the mod just because you can is the point. So you end up in Dark Valley, playing as Gordon Freeman, beating up Deathclaws from Fallout with your crowbar, on a mission to pick up alien eggs in a spider cave for your personal collection, like a regular Tuesday in these mods. I'm not gonna do a deep dive here into soup projects, you get the idea. And I already did a full video on them if you're interested. They're a fun, janky and wild experience, and as much as I love the new immersive, moody, tactical shooter style the games have become with the more recent mod packs, soup mods are still core to the Stalker identity. So let's go back to Boss Pack. Boss Pack is not a soup mod. I just wanted to talk about soups a little bit. It doesn't have the scope, the amount of new maps, all the new quests, mechanics and crazy random amount of content, it's not even close. It has this spark of craziness that makes it really fun and messy. The best way I could put it, it is a giant mod pack for Anomaly with some soup tendencies, but it's not completely out of control. There's still a direction, somewhat. It's not as chaotic and big as a true soup mod. Yes, you can rock your Adidas backpack and beat up mutants with your matching Adidas baseball bat. Yes, there's thousands of weapons, so many that half the time when I open the console to check them out, it simply crashes. My laptop just cannot handle that amount of information. Yes, if you were wondering, it's the same for artifacts, there are so many new ones, and don't get me started on the different armors or helmets, you see where this is going. A lot of them are definitely not lore friendly, but that was never the point anyway. And to be fair, it's not fully random content. Again, we're not even close to soup mods with junk that doesn't make any sense. Boss Pack is just expanding a lot in an over-the-top way on what you would find in regular Anomaly mod packs. It's the same for mutants, where it's mainly the Redone collection that adds new monster, but we don't have like 3 story-tall pseudo giants, for example, like in other soup mods. I'm telling you, it's wild, but it's still under control. There's also a ton of new mechanics, like a full skills and perk system to turn Stalker into a decent RPG, where you can really focus on a specific playstyle. You have a ton of new mechanics, crafting recipes, daily missions. There's some really fun game mods too, to change things up a little bit. I've been experimenting with the Black Road mod that spawns you randomly on the map at night, completely naked, which is already an adventure on its own, but paired with the survival mode, where all the Stalker spawns are replaced by zombies that slowly come to get you in bigger and bigger numbers, it's a pretty fun and wild experience. And you can of course still play it in a more casual, free-roaming, Anomaly-style fashion by doing the faction's main questlines. So if you want to have a taste of what soup mods are, but with some supervision, with a bit more structure, and an overall balance that's not that bad actually, with all the graphical updates, quality of life add-ons the Anomaly platform brings, with new maps, new quests, unique and secret weapons, and all the extra content you can imagine. It could be a good mod pack for you to try. It's still hard, complex, and if you don't find it hard enough, for some reason you have extra level of difficulty, it can be very janky and buggy at times. Of course, it's 90% translated, so mostly okay to understand what's happening, but do not expect the smoothest polished experience. It's a bit hard to install, nothing too bad, but you have to pay attention to all the steps. I made a guide recently that you can check out for this. In terms of performance, it's a 2.5 on the potato scale, the worst grade I've given so far. It's not well optimized and the sheer amount of content really doesn't help. You have a preset for low-end computers though, which runs much better. You're not gonna enjoy all the latest graphical updates and fancy add-ons, but at least it's a much smoother experience. The low-end preset is a 3.5 on the potato scale. That's the one I've been using in the end, and I really appreciate the dev put in the work to provide this option. So a very fun and janky mod pack, definitely not for everyone, but if you're into that type of things, it's hundreds of hours of wild new content to discover. Next, I wanted to talk quickly about Zona. I had a lot of comments recommending it, I never heard about it before, and people sounded pretty excited, so great, let's check it out. I go to the Discord, I watch the latest video that explains how much better than Gamma it is. I mean, okay, sure, not the way I would sell myself, but whatever. I then go to the features to see what it has to offer in details, and the first sentence is, unlike other fucking mod packs, Zona focuses on performance, blah blah blah. Again, not the way I would introduce my work to the people just getting here, but sure. And as I was scrolling the conversations while downloading the files, checking the pinned messages and trying to get a feel for the mod, it pretty much confirmed this weird toxic vibe I sensed as soon as I got there. I started compiling a lot of examples because I wanted to talk about it and make a bigger point about rivalries between mod packs and how fun, sometimes beneficial, but generally counterproductive they can be. But in the middle of the process I was like, why are you even doing this? Just let cringy kids be cringe. It's Discord. What did you expect? So my only responsibility is to warn you. Just be ready to lose a couple brain cells if you spend too long over there. And I don't even need to show more examples because believe me, you will see. So anyways, after that terrific introduction, Zona is actually a pretty solid mod pack that fills a specific spot not a lot of others do. And for that reason, it's interesting to talk about. Zona specifically focuses on performance, optimization, and having a low footprint, while still providing most of the quality of life, new weapons, mechanics, everything you can think of from the bigger mod packs, almost in a much lighter, stable, and very efficient package. After trying it for a couple days, I'd say it's somewhere between Anomaly and Escape from Pripyat. It's challenging, it's immersive, it needs some getting used to, but I like the magazine and ammo crafting packing system, the gunplay is great, and it's very well balanced overall. If you have a shitty computer with a shitty internet connection, a shitty SSD drive that's always full, and are too lazy to mod your own version of Anomaly and want a great tactical immersive mod pack, I might be describing myself here actually, well, Zona is perfect for you. It's like a third of the size of the bigger mod packs, it runs extremely well, and it looks pretty good knowing all the self-imposed limitations to keep it lean. I'm showing you the base version here like every other mod pack, but you can pretty easily tweak some things like update to SSS23, add better textures if you want, and so on. It's not the most modular mod pack out there, but you can still customize quite a bit of things. The dev behind it is pretty passionate, updates it regularly, and also works on his own add-ons and optimization to make the mod pack run even better and add some exclusive mechanics. So a pretty interesting project overall, a solid 4 on the potato scale, and the installation process and troubleshooting are simple and well documented, which is really nice. Don't go there expecting a Gamma Light, it's something closer to EFP, and it's a great option if you want a solid, low-spec friendly mod pack. Before we move to other projects, I want to quickly go back to Old World add-on. If you remember from the last video, it's a project that goes in the complete opposite direction of the other Anomaly mods. Instead of adding new features, weapons, items, graphical improvements, it actually removes all the bloat and goes back to the way the original games were. It's using the Anomaly platform for its amazing stability and modularity, with the open world free roaming option to play the game, but it's going back to the roots in terms of looks and gameplay. A perfect mod pack for purists and people nostalgic of the game's earlier builds. And I basically stopped here last week because I didn't want to make things too complicated, but if you like the idea of Old World add-on, but it feels a little bit too old school for you, and you wish there was slightly improved graphics, better gunplay and weapon handling, some quality of life add-ons, still the old school feel of the game, but a bit modernized, well, there's of course mod packs for that. It starts feeling like mod packs Inception, with mod packs of other mod packs that make the game more modern and then turn it old again, but anyways, if you want updated weapons and their animations and that's it, you can use the Gunslinger add-on. If you want some extra simple weapons, no tactical stuff, improved graphics and textures, and some light quality of life add-ons, you can use the Old World add-on Redux. And if you want a much more complete overhaul with a great balance between a lot of the modern features that are available for Anomaly, while still keeping the original feel and spirit of the original games, Forgotten Zone might be exactly what you're looking for. Better animation, sounds, recoil system, handling, a couple extra weapons, just for variety purposes, nothing crazy, improved NPC AI, some UI improvements, and a lot of quality of life add-ons for a better, smoother experience. There's also some extra quests to do, some economy and progression adjustment. It's a very complete overhaul that touches a little bit of everything. You also have 8 profiles you can pick for even deeper customization. I think a big update is coming soon too, so if that's the kind of stalker you're looking for, keep an eye on it. The best way I can describe it is the old looks playing like a modern game. Solid 4 on the potato scale, slightly more demanding than the regular Old World, but it still runs extremely well, and the installation is pretty much the same as any other mod pack. I gave a quick try to Anomaly Redux. On paper, it's pretty interesting. It comes as a full package that's very easy to install, and you basically just turn on the mods you're interested into. It runs very well out of the box without needing any tweakings. It's a solid 4 on the potato scale, and it's focused on having a very well balanced progression with a complete overhaul of the ballistics, defense system, and economy. It has of course the usual weapon pack, graphical improvements, and quality of life add-ons you find already everywhere else. I don't think it's even necessary to mention it anymore. It definitely goes for the older vintage look with the textures, weathers and models, and the fact that it's provided as a full package makes it a bit less modular. Very easy to install, but it's not really designed for people who want to tweak a lot of things on top of the base mod pack. Their main selling point is also a fully redesigned attachment system that looks really cool, but unfortunately this mod pack has zero English support, so it's hard to cover it correctly. I was working on an install guide for it, but I'll wait for the next big update with the AO engine. Hopefully it will be more accessible by then. And you know what? Let's finish with Dark Signal. I mentioned it quickly in the last video, but didn't go too much into details. It's getting old now and hasn't been updated in a while, which is fine. Not every mod pack needs to be updated constantly. On the surface, Dark Signal is another overhaul of base Anomaly, but focusing a lot on the zone itself. Radiation is deadly, anomalies are not just an afterthought, but a constant threat, and mutants have been completely reworked. There's more of them, their spawns are more dynamic, they will hunt you, attack settlements, and being outside at night is incredibly dangerous. It's also one of the rare mods that's designed to be played with Warfare mode enabled, so while you're progressing the questline, the zone evolves with you. Faction control changes, territory are lost and conquered, and it adds a new element that makes every run more unique. Repairs and crafting are here, but streamlined, artifacts are abundant, and lots of stashes need to be lockpicked, but can hide very good loot. You actually have 2 profiles to choose from after installing the mod. Base will be very close to vanilla Anomaly in terms of gameplay and balance. You'll just have the reworked graphics, sounds, and quality of life add-ons, so it might be something you're looking for, and Overhauled is the default Dark Signal, the way it's intended to be played. This mod pack also left its mark for the amazing sound and atmosphere it brings. It is so good that pretty much every mod pack today uses some, if not all of the Dark Signal sound overhauls. That's how good it is. If you want a challenging experience, without being too hardcore either, in an ominous zone where death waits for you at every corner, this is a great mod pack to try. It's a bit performance heavy. If you tweak a couple things, it can run great, but by default it's a 3.5. A bit of stutters and little crashes, but nothing too bad. It's not hard to install, boilerplate, Anomaly Anomaly and Mod Organizer stuff. It doesn't have all the latest bells and whistles, especially in the graphics department, but it's still a great looking mod with an old school, very moody feel to it. Let's quickly address Anomaly Custom before we go, since a few people asked about it. I will not cover this mod pack on the channel anymore, for the very simple reason that they can't help but use their Discord as a platform to spread branded Russian propaganda and overall hateful and toxic rhetoric. They're sadly not the only problematic people in the community, but they're by far the most vocal and shameless about it, and make it impossible to ignore. I wish they could just focus on working on their mod pack and leave politics out of it. Nobody wants to know how much you love the taste of Putin's balls every time they come to check for an update or download some files, but apparently it's too hard to ask to these guys. To be fair, their Discord is a little bit less of a cesspool compared to last year when the drama hit. They probably cleaned up things just enough to not get banned, but you still run into the same dumb shit today. It's not like we're running out of great mod packs to play. I think these two videos proved exactly that, so there's absolutely no reason to give them any exposure, and this was the last time we're talking about them. Okay, I am done with Anomaly mod packs. I want to go back to some good old story mods, or maybe start this semi-day with Call of Chernobyl, we'll see. The best feeling is when I'm gonna leave the 50 Discord servers I had to join to try all these mod packs and never come again. Okay, be good to each others.